So I'm here, you're here, your voice is not here.
Yeah.
I think you left it. Did you leave it in Vancouver?
I left it in Vancouver.
Okay.
Yeah. So I woke up this morning and my voice was like this. So I'm going to try to keep it low like this, sensual and low for you guys. And I'm going to try to get through this, but it's rough. Yes.
Okay.
Okay. So Nick is going to do most of the talking today.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Power Platform Boost podcast, your timely source of Power Platform news and updates with your hosts, Nick Dolman and Ulrikke Ackerbeck.
Hey, Ulrikke.
Hey, Nick.
How's it going?
Not so good.
It's funny because we're recording live here at the Microsoft campus at the
DevRel Studios.
The DevRel Studios. I took this opportunity for us to be able to record in person. So I'm here, you're here, your voice is not here.
Yeah.
I think you left it. Did you leave it in Vancouver?
I left it in Vancouver.
Okay.
Yeah. So I woke up this morning and my voice was like this. So I'm going to try to keep it low like this, sensual and low for you guys. And I'm going to try to get through this, but it's rough. Yes.
Okay.
Okay. So Nick is going to do most of the talking today.
Yeah. Well, my voice is already beginning to go too, but I think mine will. We'll
okay,
keep
so
going.
Maybe we'll just go until we all both fall silent.
Right. So, of course, we did our episode last week. We did a bonus episode. We did the release wave, 2026 wave 1. Mm-hmm. Haven't had a chance to check that out. Please do, because we talked about all the new things, quite a few of our favorite new things that are coming in the release wave of this year. But yeah, there's been a few news items as well coming up. A lot of things been happening. Like we said, we are here for MVP Summit. We're hoping to learn a lot of interesting things about where Microsoft is going, what their plans are. Of course, we really can't say too much because a lot of it is redacted or under NDA because sometimes plans change. Sometimes this information can impact competitive things and all this other stuff. Whatever. We just got to keep our mouth shut. But I think we can safely say it might have something to do with Copilot and agents and AI.
You think?
Maybe they're doing something different.
Maybe they're just turning it completely around and just going down a different route. Who knows?
Maybe, exactly. Yep.
And I think we can say for sure that next time we will know a bit more about the direction Microsoft's going with.
Right.
And of course, like you said, we can't say anything, but it will always influence what we talk about.
Yeah.
Right. Because so that's kind of also a reason to follow MEPs in the community.
Yeah.
Is that you will get a sense of if something is going away or Microsoft is moving in a different direction, that influences the things that we are focusing on.
Yeah.
So it's a good way to kind of keep on track and making sure that you are on top of things.
Right. And so let's speaking of community content, we have a few things. Speaking of community events, we just came back from the Canadian Power Platform Summit. That was part of the journey here. Stopped in Vancouver, came down here. It was basically a 2-day event, or basically kind of 3 if you consider the Dynamics user group. The folks that do DynamicsCon also had an event on the Friday. We did workshops on Friday, covering different things. We've had on ALM, on Copilots, on career planning, and what was the 4th workshop on? I planned it. I was there. Apps, creating beautiful apps, power apps and things like that. That went really well. And then of course we had the general sessions on the Saturday, and just a big shout out to Keegan Chambers. Her keynote, really a lot of these technical conferences, we talk about all the new technology. And of course, sometimes there's Microsoft keynotes talking about the latest and greatest and what's coming up. Keegan really hit on something that I think affects a lot of people in the IT community, is the being different, neurodivergent. Keegan has, in her family, she deals with this. She talked about her own experiences. And I think if you looked in that whole crowd, and you kind of looked around, a lot of people would have been nodding or identifying or realizing that for us in the IT industry specifically, we are a little different sometimes, but it's our superpower. It's how we think about things, how we can interpret things. how we can work through that logic and problems. And I think these superpowers in this new world that we're going into are going to be even more prevalent and more important as we move forward. So Keegan's keynote was great. Of course, a lot of the other speakers, a lot of the other sessions were on top, amazing. And then April Dunham did the closing one. Again, that was much more the Microsoft technology, but really pointed. It was a nice mix of, hey, if you know the Power Platform, it's still good. That knowledge you have, it's not going away. But she gave some very concrete ways of how to kind of transfer this and take your knowledge and enhance it so you can be very successful moving forward. So as an organizer, I'm happy it's done because it was very tiring. But most people, overall sentiment, people were very happy. We're really hoping to do it again next year. Probably the venue might change a little bit, a few other things. So we'll figure that out. We have all sorts of time to sort that out. And I'm not going to, So that was really cool.
It was a really good vibe. Yeah, it really was. I think the keynotes that touch on personal themes, it feels a bit out of place at a technology conference because, like you said, it creates a very intimate vibe. A lot of us can relate, and so it brings people together in a very special way. And we saw that the last few years at CPBS especially. You've done that kind of consistently, and it creates it feels like a safe space. That's what it creates, and it kind of makes everyone breathe deeper a little bit in the morning. So it feels a bit invasive sometimes, but it is a really good way to start a technology conference. I think so. Really well done for putting on a good conference. It was a very good vibe when I arrived, and it was it was great.
Cool. Thank you. So, and then moving on. So, of course, we had a different travel adventures coming down here. Coming here wasn't too much of a problem. And now we're here today at the DevRel Studios, not at home.
No.
I'll get back home eventually, I think.
Maybe. We'll see if you can find your way.
Find my way.
But we're going to spend the week here with our very good friends in the MVP community. And we're going to learn so much. And I looked at the schedule and it's completely packed. My plan is just morning till evening, jam-packed. And I know from Beaver's experiences here that I'm going to be pooped by the end of this week. It's like I underestimate. Because we go to conferences, we speak, we're engaged, we have a job to do. So our focus is on delivering and to host and to be there for the attendees. But then being here for a full week and consuming content for a week makes me appreciate how tiring it can be to learn all this stuff and how intense it is.
And to take it all in, and you're making notes and you're just trying to absorb all that. And it's nice not to have that, that the fact that we're not presenting anything, I mean, aside from this, but overall it's good, but it is very tiring. And I think for all the other MVPs that might be watching this, and I'm giving you this advice as well, is try to take a break sometimes. Like, there's the sessions for us, they are recorded. It's not public, unfortunately. But you could catch up later on the plane ride home, maybe download a couple videos and just to give yourself, I'm probably going to do that. I'm going to try to sneak off to the gym a couple times this week, just to kind of, clear my head, exhaust the body, clear the mind.
That's true.
But we also, the past week, we've had a couple of our community friends come up with some really neat content, or Microsoft themselves made the big announcement. We did big announcement talking about Copilot Cowork.
So have you used Claude Cowork at all?
Yes, I've used Claude Cowork. I've been experimenting with that. So this is my understanding. This is Microsoft taking that technology, but putting the proper, I'd say, governance and security wrappers around it, or not even wrappers, but also taking that technology, but making it in a way that you can work within your Microsoft 365 environment. You could use your content, and it's just going to make it a little bit more secure and a little bit more enterprise ready and more collaborative underneath all that. Part of a new SKU. We're always talking about the E3 SKU or the E5 SKU. This is the E7 SKU right now.
A new licensing model, $99 per user per month. You get access to all the new frontier capabilities, features, call it what you want. And Cowork's part of that. And I've been using Claude Cowork a lot lately, but I have to limit myself in what I give it access to because I don't trust it with customer information, for instance.
Yes.
So to have this Cowork experience in Copilot and to be able to trust it within the ecosystem of my Microsoft 365 tenant is really something I'm looking forward to.
Mhm.
It's going to open up the box for what I can use it for more. So if you haven't used Cowork before, it's a way for you to collaborate with AI on a much bigger scale.
Yep.
That's how I find it. I'll give it access to different documents. You can look at it as a workspace or a project. It's great for PowerPoint presentations, document creation, and also kind of aligning work. So I use it to create a framework, for instance. It's worked really well.
Yeah, what I like about these tools is like when you work with agents before, like the thing is the Copilot or ChatGPT were always good. Like, build me a PowerPoint about this. And it'd be like, got it.
Yeah.
And it would come back with a heaping pile of crap.
Mhm.
What I like about this is this is what I have to, talk about working on skills. I'm not the best delegator in the world, probably so I'm like, okay, let me do it myself. So part of working with these tools, essentially you're delegating a bunch of work to the agents.
Mhm.
What I like about it is sometimes what I think my issues with delegating is, here, go do it. Okay. Like, you don't have any questions? No, we're good. But now if you use these Cowork tools, I assume Copilot Cowork, from what we've seen, will do the same as how Claude Cowork does. It's like, okay, it goes back to, okay, you want me to do this. You want me to create a PowerPoint. You want me to look at the meetings this week. You want to pull in these emails, this documentation. Okay, here's my task. Here's my plan. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do this. Here's step 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Does that sound good to you?
Yeah.
And you got to read through it. And then you could say, the thing is, it's not like, it won't be offended either if you say, no. Okay, step 1, actually, because a lot of it's just how I explained it. No, actually what I meant was, and let me re-explain it. I want you to do it like this, like this. And again, it's, giving you that opportunity. And it's like, oh, okay. Instead of this, we're going to do this instead. Like, instead of going to your Outlook calendar, or you want me to look in these emails, or I want you to do, this with a Word document, maybe not a PDF document, stuff like that. And then it will come back. Okay, here's the plan. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 steps. Good, go.
Yeah.
And then it's going to go off, and you see it thinking, and you see it kind of going through the motions. So this helps you when you're giving it tasks again down the line. You're sort of seeing how it works and how it understands. It's like working with a colleague. Once you understand their working habits, you can collaborate a lot better. And not only that, you can give it the skills and give it the information. It's like, oh, okay, I need to give you a little bit more information on this. So I'm really I'm excited. I'm also like, okay, am I going to be a little bit nervous handing stuff off? But I've been using some of these tools for other things, and I'm already finding that it is giving me a lot of that productivity, but realizing, again, it's my part in it is still integral. The human in the loop. I'm still orchestrating it. I'm actually giving it the feedback, but a lot of that tedious work is gone. It is bringing in a lot of that creative work as well, but also because I'm giving it system prompts or giving that information of how I work, what my voice is, it's taking that. So it's almost like, okay, yeah, I would have written it the same way, or written it would have been very similar, but I can still go through and do some final edits and make it my own. So yeah, very excited to see how this evolves and it coming up, and just waiting to get my fingers on the actual Microsoft version of this. And then that way, again, that kind of takes a little bit of those wall, or gives me that security blanket that I need for this.
And also there's the storage, the memory part of Cowork is different than a chat.
Yeah.
So you have a chat with an agent, and it will fatigue and it will forget, and you have to refresh because it will go off on a tangent somewhere. You have to kind of bring it back. But with Cowork, it's different because you'll have a fresh loop every time. So it's more designed to save its knowledge in the files. So it saves memory in the physical MD files.
Yes.
And then it will be able to kind of refresh your chat experience more often.
And you can edit these markdown files. Yeah, we say MD markdown. Markdown is a formatting. We use it a lot when I was here working on the docs team. That gives you the ability to kind of, again, guide or give a playbook to your agents, right?
And it learns how you do things and how you work. You can share those files within your team and, among colleagues to give it specific skills, which is a big enhancement to what we had in the past. So it's going to be more like a coworker.
Yeah, very cool.
Yeah.
So speaking of getting work done in cool ways, there's a video this week from our friend Sean Astrakhan. I don't know if you've seen that.
I have, but you tell the people so they don't have to listen
so
to my voice.
So you're Ulrikke, the trucker voice.
I'm outsourcing talking to you. It's just getting worse and worse.
So you need a talking agent now.
Yes, I do. And I have one.
There we go. Okay, so here's my plan.
Okay. Good.
I'm going to, we're going to look at Sean's video. We're going to discuss the points, and then I'm going to reiterate the points, and I'm going to follow this. I'm going to talk. You're going to nod. You're going to smile, and then you're going to interrupt me and say, "No, this is how I understand it," and everything like that. So, okay, good. Got the instructions. Going to go with it. Yep. All right. So Sean Astrakhan did a video. You really have to check this out if you haven't seen that yet. He talks about a very simple process that if you're working in the Power Platform and model-driven apps, we've all been there. Like we have a task in DevOps. Client wants to add a couple new fields to a model-driven app. We've done this 100 times. Of course, we'd probably see that task. We would go into our dev environment and clickety-clack, add the fields, then go update the view, update the form, save, publish, do some testing, deploy it to our test server, have QA people maybe look at it, or maybe our client look at it, depending on the size of the project, make sure it all works good, done in production. Not a hard task, but of course, our tasks become a lot more complex over time. So what Sean did is kind of went through the motions and did this completely 100% from Visual Studio Code.
Wow.
He went in using the Dataverse MCP server, the Azure DevOps MCP server, and Playwright. So those are the cool main tools. Used, I think, maybe a bit of GitHub Copilot or a bit of Claude Code or a mix of both. I think he used Claude to verify some of what the GitHub Code did or something like that. But basically had it read the task from Azure DevOps, and very much like we were talking about before, read the task and said, "Ooh, okay, here's what I need to do. Here are the steps," and basically broke down the steps, and then used the Dataverse MCP server to kind of find the schema names and everything like this. Use the command line utilities to update the views and the forms. Of course, there is a bit of back and forth, again, orchestrating human in the loop, and went through. And then finally, when that was all done, did through Playwright and tested the process and did the clicking on the screen, opened up the browser. Is this new field here? Does the view look right? Is there values in there? And then coming back saying all tests passed, good to deploy, and then update the Azure DevOps task in the end that it's now complete, putting in the notes of all what it did.
Awesome.
So
did it document as well?
Yes. Document, that was part of the process in Azure DevOps, right?
Yeah.
So there's no reason why it couldn't have updated a wiki page or update that. The other cool thing too with the Playwright steps, Sean was pointing to, if you maybe did some other work later or one of your colleagues are going and manipulating those forms, well, let's run those Playwright scripts again. Oh, it failed this time because your colleague removed the field from the form. Yeah. So you know how it is, right? We build something, we deploy it, client's happy. 3 or 4 months later or a year later or 2 years later, oh, we want to change this. We want to add this. We want to change things around. Good. We fix all that. We deploy it. But what we did 2 years ago is broken, or 6 months ago is broken. If we can now run it through those original Playwright scripts again, that it can go through and wait a minute, you fix this, but this has been broken. So before we deploy to prod, we catch that and then we can make those adjustments, or we can work with the agents to make those adjustments. So Sean, amazing video. It's 10 minutes, but he refers to some of his other videos as well, but just to take in what is possible. And also, I think, again, enhancing your Power Platform skills. Even if you're not a developer, if you consider yourself just a functional consultant or a maker, download Visual Studio Code, look at the command line, look what it's doing. It's not that scary. And you also have a Copilot that can help you throughout the way and explain it to you, because you can even ask your code. I do this a lot. Explain this code. If I'm looking at code someone else wrote, what is this doing? And what is it wrong? And I've had both Copilot, GitHub Copilot and Claude Code come back saying, there's a whole function that's never been called in this script because there's no entry point. And the developer that worked on that years ago might not have even noticed it, and that kind of thing. So these are the tools. And all that is, I think Visual Studio Code is basically the primary thing that I'm into these days.
Yeah, for me as well. Yeah. And I also know you have to kind of check its work a little bit as well.
Of
Because I've
course.
heard some stories this at CPBS was someone telling me that it confidently asked it to run a CLI command that doesn't exist. I was like, and then this person knows CLI very well and just came back and said, "Are you sure that this exists?" It's like, "Oh yeah, I'm sure. Just try it and you will see." It's like, no, it won't. It doesn't exist. But I've used Copilot or Claude Code a lot now to help me set up these things, right? To collaborate with it, to help me set up, what do I need? Do I need Node.js for this?
Right.
Do I need to install any libraries for this? And it helps me set up my development workspace. And as much as we like the term maker, the new term is builder.
Yeah.
A lot of us are builders, and a lot of makers are now transitioning into code through these tools because you can have someone hold your hand as you're doing it. So it's scary, but give it a go.
Yep.
I think you're going to be surprised of how easy it is when someone holds your hand.
Yep. A lot of cool content.
Right. This is timing out. Let's see if I can get back in. So you want to talk about the thing that Fredrik did.
Right. So there was another really cool article I saw this week from Fredrik. Sorry?
Fredrik Engseth.
Engseth. Cool.
Yeah.
All right. Good.
Norwegian.
Norwegian.
Yeah, it's a previous colleague of mine.
Previous colleague of Ulrikke did a really cool thing with Power Automate.
Yeah.
And of course, people are like, there's, Power Automate. Well, that's, what about all the new cool tools and stuff like that? Guess what? Probably of the 10 automations you're doing, 8 of them still need Power Automate.
Yep.
So what he did though, trying to change a few things in Power Automate. Power Automate does have its own built-in Copilot. Yes, it is getting better, but he looked at it and he goes, Power Automate, you can export to JSON. Claude Code works really well with JSON.
Yes.
So it's almost like, chocolate, peanut butter. Let's put this together and see what happens. So what he did was, and he explained it in his blog, and of course we have the link in the show notes. He exported the JSON from Power Automate, put it into Claude Code, gave it some instructions to make a few changes. It went through and told it, you're working on a Power Automate JSON configuration here. Claude Code knows about Power Automate and went through. And again, these are not only he could kind of find that information, but again, we can start building agent skills, and that's a whole other conversation. But basically went through, made the changes to the JSON file. He took it, pasted it back into Power Automate, and it's another one of these, wow, it actually worked. So it was a very simple example, but again, it's really showing how we can use these tools in very creative ways to get our work done. And we're not just limited to one set of tools. So it's not like, well, we're creating Power Automate, we have to use the built-in Copilot. We can use the other tools. And like we said previously about, you work with Visual Studio, we can actually use the different models to check each other's work as well. So if GitHub Copilot comes up with something, we can take, comes up with a plan, we could give that plan to Claude Code and say, what do you think of this plan? And it could come back and say, oh, this is great. I think in going back to Sean's example in our previous segment there, he actually had that in Claude Code, found an error with one of the formulas. So like what you were saying, that's who you ran into. Someone said they were very confident about the CLI command. You could ask another LLM, does a CLI command work or exist? And it could come back and say, no, So again, this gives us good information, but again, shows we need the human in the loop.
Yeah. And also you can have different agents with different skill sets in Copilot Studio, for instance, and you can have the critique.
Yes.
Right. You have someone
skill.
who always, the critique skill that always goes in and is very kind of judgmental and will always source check all the things that are in there and check it against documentation.
Yep.
Which is a good thing to have, right? Quality assurance.
Right. Stuff that sometimes we as developers, we like, no, if it works, ship it.
Yeah, exactly right.
So very good, Fredrik. That was an awesome. Was one of these little things. Very kind of a simple process. It shows some experimentation, which I always love doing. Like kind of like, well, let's try this and see what happens. And what's the worst that can happen? It could work. You have a really cool blog post about it.
Yeah, exactly. And I also wanted to touch on the IQ series. So Microsoft has launched a series of learning content and videos on Foundry IQ. So 3 videos up on Foundry.
Yep.
Now. I think they're going to cover the rest of the IQ stack as well. I haven't had time to go through it, but I see that there's a lot of very good learning content around the IQ series, which is part of the Frontier framework.
Yep.
And you can get access to that through the Frontier program.
Awesome. Yes, definitely. I saw that. You showed me that this morning. I'm going to check that out. Probably not this week,
Probably
but
not.
we'll probably get a lot of very similar info potentially. But yeah, just again, so if these are things on your learning plan, you should be, and this is interesting. We talk about learning plans and absorbing. When do we find the time and all this? I saw a link, and I don't have it in the show notes. I do have to find it, but it reflected on sort of what I do as well. How much time should we be spending learning new things in our job? How much time do we allocate for that? If I go to my powerlifting career, I spend 6 to 8 hours per week in the gym.
Okay.
Go early in the morning before I work or whatever. I'm in a fortunate place where I can actually, not this week, but generally if I'm home, I can schedule that in. For when I compete, I may be on the platform from anywhere from like 6 to 9 minutes. And you think about that ratio of time to results. Now, I'm not saying that you have to spend that same ratio in terms of learning, but if we actually look at our daily work and how much time we actually spend learning new things, it's like we maybe spend 15 minutes to watch a video, and yet we're doing 40, 50 hours of work that week. So just something to consider. It's not really, we don't have a solution per se, but just food for thought when people say, okay, how much, like, oh, I don't have the time to learn all this new stuff. There was a saying that I've heard before, I'm too busy cutting down trees. I don't have time to sharpen my saw.
Yep.
And then you become less efficient. And of course, people start, doing these new things like what Sean was showing and all of this stuff. So I guess I'm sort of reminding myself, probably reminding you as well, and everybody that watches us, do try to carve out some time per week, a few hours at least, if not more, if you can. And just to spend time, at least, you don't have to be a pro or an expert, but have some indications of where this is going. Of course, listening to us, we can kind of check it. We put the show notes, we put the links. And I know some of you will go down and check that all out. That's great. Continue to do that. But also take the time and actually fire up Visual Studio Code and fire up Copilot Studio and just experiment. Like, you're not going to launch nuclear missiles, hopefully. Probably not, if you make sure you're using the right governance in place. So anyways, it was just sort of something that I thought about too. It's like, all of these things, like, where do we find the time? And I think it's just something we have to schedule, like a meeting, like anything else.
Yeah. And I think that goes for a lot of I saw a quote, it's the most important asset we have is time. And that's the thing that we squander the most.
Right.
So your priorities and where you prioritize your time shows yourself what it is that is most important. And I think, so when I started my career, we had 20% allocated to learning. So we had I could take 1 out of 5 days at my job.
That's amazing.
To learn new things. And that was the foundation for me being able to become an MVP, essentially, because I could spend that time learning and then document what I learned into blog posts.
Right.
And then kind of get the word out there.
Yeah.
But to be able to set aside that, and there's learning when you're on the job. So when you learn something new, show a colleague, show someone.
Yep.
And don't be afraid to make mistakes.
And the thing about showing something you've done, like if you're like doing an experiment, like grabbing a JSON file out of a Power Automate, you show somebody, even if it's just a colleague or something, they might say, ooh, what if we tried this?
Yes.
And what if we did that? And then it kind of explodes from there. You might learn, you could learn something new, or they could say, yeah, but watch out for this kind of thing. So anyways, I'm all about and this week we're going to be taking in a lot of learning. But I just sort of say it's just part of, in terms of career, I think overall, and this goes back to April's closing keynote at CPPS, a lot of things I've been hearing lately about this new way of working and things like that is the value. It is important for your careers to actually invest the time to learn some of these new tools, but enhance the knowledge you have. And that's going to make you successful going forward. And we're still going to need people
Oh yeah, 100%.
And it's the people that are going to be kind of being able to embrace a lot of these tools are going to be sort of the ones kind of leading the pack. And so, yeah.
Yeah. But it's like I said a few episodes ago, we're in the chaos part of this now. And don't be an expert. Play, experiment,
Explore.
Yeah. And then it will quiet down. Not long from now, we'll see standards. We'll see a clear path forwards. We'll kind of know our way around it and where to invest. Then that's the time to double down, to find your niche thing, to find your kind of your axis that you're good at. And then you run and you capitalize.
Right.
But right now, don't be an expert. Play with everything.
Yeah. And you can't be.
No, there's no way. If anyone tells you they're an expert in anything, for me, it's like, sorry, dude, too soon.
Yeah. Cool. Anyways, this has been a great episode. I think we need to give your voice a rest. We did cover a lot of cool community content. We talked about the conferences. Of course, there's conferences coming up again. Or check us out. We're going to be at Color Cloud.
Yep.
I will be at Dynamics Minds at the end of May. We'll both be at the European Power Platform Conference.
Yep.
And then we'll see what the fall brings. Still a little bit up in the air. Any place else you're going to be in the next month or two?
No, I'm dialing down. So I'm keeping it local.
Good for you. Cool.
Yeah.
All right. Thanks, everybody. And I think we'll be back to our regular episode
in 2 weeks.
In 2 weeks. And probably in our regular recording setups.
Yeah, maybe.
But this is cool. Maybe I should
so cool.
Maybe I should build one in my house.
Yes, can you? And then you can invite me to come every 2 weeks.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Thank you so much.
So please buy us a beer.
Yeah.
So or buy Ulrikke airline points.
Yeah, that's right. Thank you so much to the very professional people here at DevRel Studios. Thank you for the opportunity to have us here for us to record. It's so cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Big shout out to Matt and Sarah that helped getting everything set up. We love you guys. Thank you for doing this. And of course, see you all soon.
Yep. All right. Bye-bye, everyone.
Thank you for listening. If you like this episode, please make sure you share it with your friends and colleagues in the community. And be sure to leave a rating or a review on your favorite streaming service. That makes it easier for others to find us. Follow us on social platforms and make sure you don't miss a single episode. Thank you for listening to the Power Platform Boost podcast with your host, Ulrikke and Nick Dolman. See you next time for your timely boost of Power Platform news and updates.